Mike's Daily Podcast.
This is going to be the last one where I have to get up early for a while, I think. But it is
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And the time is 6:25. It's episode 1913. There's been a lot of stuff going on in the world, if you know what I mean. Hey, this is interesting. The end of the teens, of the 20 teens, is happening this year. We're going to enter the 2020s. Does that not interest you at all? Because what happens
Mike's Daily Podcast
these days is a decade suddenly becomes a radio format. It's iHeart
Mike's
O's or 80s
Daily
or 90s
Podcast.
It'll be the iHeart teens.
Yeah!
What was our big... What was it about the teens of the 2010s? Maybe they'll just call it the 10s. iHeart 10s. The 2010s, let's see, we had... How did this frickin' decade start off with? It's all blur. I remember there was the band... You know, every band I'm thinking of came out in the 90s. Green Day, Foo Fighters. Foo Fighters put out stuff in the 2010s. New bands. Let's see. A lot of indie stuff, huh? You had your indie groups, and then your hip-hop bands, and your Justin Biebers. I guess Justin Bieber is... Oh, Ed Sheeran. Anybody that you know, you can call me 336MM Daily. 3 plus 3 equals 6. MM is in Mike Matthews Daily isn't what this podcast has been, and it's too early. And then there was, Lana Del Rey. She's all popular with her cover of a Sublime song, a song from the 90s. What else about the 2010s? We had Obama. We had Trump. Oh, did we have Trump?
And here's today's podcast picture.
I think we'll have him for a while, unfortunately. Or fortunately, depending on... Hey, the economy's great. Hey... Whatever dignity we had in the presidency is gone. Hey, the media is out of control and is trying to impeach him because it's a witch hunt. It's always a witch hunt. It's a mess. The podcast picture today is something that Mike has no idea what it is, so we'll come back to that. Don't rush me. That's something my dad hated, was being rushed. He would move even slower, Basil, the more you rushed him. Basil woke me up with sneezes last night, so I got really bad sleep because he sneezed. He had a lot of... Something tickled his nose. His big black nose. I think today might be the podcast where we have no podcast picture. It's just feeling like nothing is inspiring me. Oh, there's a cool picture here from Point Pinole. This interesting tree my lovely lady friend took a picture of when she went to Point Pinole last week. Maybe we'll do that. Sounds good. Something from Point Pinole will be at MikesDailyPodcast.com. You can see that picture now, as we always have a podcast picture, and I guess we're not going to get away with no podcast picture today. Streaming services. So I had a nice little thing happen to me. Did I mention it's episode 1913? Okay, good. The wonderful Netflix app on my Vizio stopped working. Well, my remote stopped working for my Vizio. I don't think Vizio is the best TV brand to buy. Don't buy the TV brand known as Vizio. I think that's also known as Sony. I'm not a fan. The apps on it became outdated within just a few years. I've had this TV now for 7 years, and it's completely outdated. So now what I have to do is, if I want to watch any Netflix, I got to hook up my lovely lady friend's laptop to the monitor to watch it. So in effect, it becomes this huge computer monitor. When I used to use a Netflix app that was on the TV, it was actually in the TV. But that's been moving slower and slower, and now it doesn't work at all. But now, and by the way, there are all these other streaming services that this TV is too outdated to handle. Like, I'm sure there's going to be a Disney Plus app. That's a new streaming service. They're pulling their stuff off of Netflix so that you'll have to watch from Disney, which I'm not a fan of doing. I'm anti-Disney now. A wonderful YouTube video popped up in my feed, and it was about how Bob Iger bought all of Lucas's stuff, bought out Lucasfilms, and George Lucas was, I don't know if he knew this was going to happen, but he regrets it, because all the ideas he had, all the treatments, all the pitches he had for his stories that were going to happen, that were going to continue on the Star Wars universe, got trashed. And Bob Iger basically just wanted to remake the old movies and call them something new with new actors and all that. Force Awakens is basically the first New Hope. But so I'm not a fan of. I will not buy Disney Plus. I would never have that as a streaming service. HBO as, I guess, an HBO Plus or whatever they're calling it. Not the biggest fan of that, although I really enjoyed some of the documentaries they do. That one they did about Elizabeth Holmes was fascinating, because nobody else went that in depth and talked to all the people she bamboozled and had all this cool footage from, like, her days where she was trying to promote Theranos, and she was looking right into the camera lens with her big blue eyes, and they were doing all these, and she can't blink. She will not blink. She does that thing where they say that you can, like, manipulate people if you just stare at them long enough. Like the snake from Jungle Book. I'm a Disney movie, back when they were cool. Trust in me, just in me. Close your eyes and trust in me. So this show, one of the labels it has on it is not news, so I shouldn't be yapping about news in the world as we go outside a cafe anyway. We're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast, and we're in Podcaster Valley. Podcaster Valley Mont today. This podcast is self-help, trying to help you in some way. One of the things I suggest is go to bed early, and let's say tell your spouse to respect you and not frickin' be walking around and waking you up, because you need your sleep. And tell your dog, hey, don't sneeze in the middle of the night. But dogs will sneeze in the middle of the night. There's nothing you can do. Anywho, there's this one guy that he does a radio show on one of the radio stations I work for, and he said the following. A lot of the self-help people that he sees on YouTube and stuff, you got to ask how much is real and how much is crap. This one guy, he was watching this guy who was talking about goals, and how don't set a bunch of goals, set really like just one goal, and make sure it's a wimpy goal, like it's a low goal, and don't, because that way you don't fail, you can attain your goals. You make it easier to attain your goals, basically. Whereas this guy who was thinking this was all crap was saying, no, you got to make big goals and then break it up into bite-sized pieces. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. That's what you got to do with goals. And that makes sense in a way, yeah. I mean, you got to make your goals something you want, something you really want, and something you think, because you got to be careful of what you dream. Someday you might actually get that dream, and then you're not happy. Like some of these superstars that wanted to be superstars, and now they're superstars, and everybody knows who they are, and their lives are hell. Because they don't have any privacy. Cars are parked 95% of the time. I heard that statistic. Cars are parked 95% of the time. We are not using our cars. We're just parking them. Huh? I don't know what that exactly means, but I do know that I get the traffic. When I'm stuck in traffic, it feels like the car is parked, so maybe that's true. 95% of the time it is parked. And why? Why are we all... so the alternative, of course, is taking public transportation. And I'm on BART, and I see all these backpacks. So many backpacks. And backpacks, when you're in a crowded BART car, Bay Area Rapid Transit, the train system in the Bay Area, or on a bus, you got to be careful because somebody can just open that little pocket in the back and start taking stuff. But I understand when you're a kid having a backpack, that's fine. But when you're a grown adult, move it up, man. Go with a briefcase or something. Look a little stylish. Not an old backpack. And I am the one to talk. I have it's basically a man purse. It's what do you call it? It's a paper boy bag. And Indiana Jones had one of them. It's a delivery bag. No? Well, anywho, it's got a bunch of papers in there that I end up reading when I'm on BART because I don't like to use my phone all the time and drain the battery. I like the papers. But I'm one to talk carrying around stuff that I don't need. I guess that's pretty much how we'll wrap up the show today. No? Okay, well, here's another thing. So, in adding to your clutter in your life, here I'm going to go condo on you. So, I was talking about recently in a podcast the thought processes of picking up free items. Especially in the Bay Area, you'll be driving around and all of a sudden you'll look over and on the curb there's an object of some sort, a chair, a shelf, a TV, and a sign saying free on it. And I'm the guy that would like to grab that free sign and take it. Because all these free signs you see all the time, everybody's doing it in their own penmanship. I think it'd be neat to have like an art installation with a bunch of free signs taped to the wall. That would be cool. But yes, you have to really think, do I need that? Do I really want that? Now, I've seen stuff and actually picked up stuff that I was, ooh. There's this thing for the backyard, like a shelf thing made out of metal that I use in my backyard that's very helpful because especially with Basil, who has accidents all the time, and I have to wash them off all the time. I've got all my towels on it. It works out good. So sometimes you find stuff, but you got to be careful. A lot of it is put out there for a reason. One time somebody put a music keyboard, a digital piano outside, a little small one. And I saw it and I go, oh, I could use that. And I went to pick it up. I put it in the car. And when I went to take it out of the car, I hear all this dirt inside of the keyboard moving around. And I thought, no. I turned around, I put it right back. I kept the free sign, though. Hey, next show, it's going to be the wonderful... Oh, that was me trying to end the show. But I see that I have to say hi to a couple people real quick. Hello, my commercial is Madame Rootabega, and I love to pick up free stuff. Oh! What's something that you picked up one time? I picked up a man. Oh, really? What was his name? Dave. Dave, the man on the curbside, Yes. We are good friends now. Ooh. That's good. Look who else is here. Hello, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant. And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that? Mike, 6:39 in the morning is not the best time of day to be outside a cafe anyway. Yeah, it's cold. Do you know that? It is. The chill in the air has returned as fall is here and autumn. And I've got the chills. Ooh, I hope I'm not getting sick. Ugh. Yes, it's that time of year. Of course, we're going to be back into the 80s this weekend. But, oh, by the way, thanks for your concern. Mom is feeling a little bit better, so that's good news there. And there are some kind people. See, my parents, well, my mom is on the other side of the frickin' country, so it's tough for me. And whenever anybody can be helpful with her, I really appreciate it. And somebody actually got her a bunch of granola bars that she loves. And it was the best thing. It was like Christmas. She was like, granola bars. Yes, granola bars, my friend. that is like you're giving someone a priceless. They're not granola bars. They're gold bars when you give them to someone that really likes them. That was my little pro granola bar thing. Did I mention a particular brand? No. Did my ex-wife work for Think granola bars? Have you ever seen those? They taste awful. The lady that ran that company, what was her name? Lozanne or something like that? She's an ex-model. She was an interesting lady. She had 2 kids. Her husband flew. I think they had their own private plane. They were really rich. They had this beautiful house in Ventura with this polished concrete floor. I went there for New Year's Eve one year. Interesting lady. Yep, Think. I see those in Trader Joe's now. So I guess she made a coin or two. And hopefully you will today as well. Thank you for listening to the show. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Shelley Shuhart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the Engineer. Oh, and just a heads up, because that's the expression everybody uses these days. Just a heads up, I probably won't have another daily show. I mean, let's be honest, I don't have to get up early the rest of the week, so that means I'll have to do the podcast from home. So we'll see. Maybe I'll get a new one in for you this week very soon. I'll try to keep it daily as long as I can. But please bear with me if it's not daily. I do what I can for you, and I appreciate you listening. All right, all the details about where to catch this show and see the podcast picture and everything right now with Ariel.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!